we have representing the 89th District in the Georgia Legislature, Representative Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams. Please forgive me. Again, it's a live performance.
As I said to Nancy, they're really good shoes, so I don't worry. If you've never seen the Stacey Abrams shoes, they so like 5 people here got that at first, but the rest of it is my honor to be here. It is not necessarily an honor to have to follow Ms. Price in her lovely rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone, or the beautiful plaque and presentation from Congressman Johnson. I don't have the authority to issue something from the nation or the state, and my voice is not lovely enough to do that. But what I can do are 2 things. One is that we do have a proclamation from the state of Georgia that will be sent to the church and to Nibs. But the other is I can tell you my story. I ran for office for the first time in 2006. I live in Kirkwood, and my district at the time included Oakhurst. I was wandering through my district, knocking on doors, and I knocked on the door of Azzy Preston. I thought I was the one running for office. I thought I was in charge of my campaign. Ms. Preston explained that I was wrong on both counts. I was simply a vessel for this community, and I was doing it all wrong. And so Azzy told me that the first thing I needed to do, Ms. Azzy said, "You're going to come to church with me." And I said, "Well, I have a church." And she said, "You're not going to the right one. You're going to church." And so Ms. Preston brought me to Oakhurst. Now, I'm the daughter of 2 United Methodist ministers, so it's a little bit like going into enemy camp. Not quite going Baptist, but really close. And I came to this church, this little church nestled in Oakhurst. And I sat in the pews and I listened to a sermon that made me want to think about converting. Because it came from a pastor who understood what my parents raised me to believe the ministry is about. Ministry is about telling the truth. It's about calling us to be our better angels. It's about telling us that our work is not necessarily only in heaven. Our work has to be done here on earth to earn our place. And there was this man standing in the pulpit who was telling us what that work looked like. And I found myself thinking about maybe possibly not telling my parents I might be Presbyterian. Nibs is a man who has done remarkable things for 34 years. He has stood up when others were only willing to sit. He has shouted where others whispered. And he has spoken the truth when others will tell you lies. And he tells you who you are and whose you are through his example, not through his words. And I know a lot of us are still suffering from the trauma of last Tuesday. We are weary and we are worried, and we think that all the things that we have fought for have now been snatched away in a single night by the triumph of nationalism and racism, of bigotry and sexism, of xenophobia and jingoism. But I'm here today to tell you that we know better, because we know Nibs. We know better because he has taught us that if the world were already good, we wouldn't need to be here. He wouldn't need to be here. We are here to do the work of good. And what we have to take from Tuesday is the challenge to not be overwhelmed by the sorrow, but to be lifted up by the promise. And it's a promise that we all know because we know Nibs. We know that when he says retirement, that just means he can't come and visit you guys for a year. It does not mean that he will not keep his spirit in the space and in our hearts. And it also means that we have to live up to the example that he has set for us every single day of his life. That we cannot let go unchallenged a single word of hate, a single act of injustice, a single moment of intolerance. Because if we are to do justice and honor Nibs, then we have to do everything in our power to make sure that every day from this day forth is as good as the day that we thought we would have had on Tuesday. And so I thank you, Nibs, for the example that you've set. I thank you, Caroline, for standing beside him, sometimes in front of him, but always with him in making Oakhurst, making Decatur, making Georgia a better place, and I'm honored to offer my congratulations on your retirement.